Hi guys, myself Mohit. Welcome to the session. So in this video, we will have a look into the integration of ServiceNow using REST. So to start with the session, I'm taking a concept from TOGAF 9.1, boundaryless information flow. So what's a boundaryless information flow? So according to TOGAF, information should pass from systems to process to people between all these in a fast, reliable, and consistent, also secure manner. So systems should basically talk to each other. This is the era of integration, right? So every system should talk to each other, whether it's an in-house tool or a third-party tool. A tool or a system without API is considered as null. It's inefficient, right? So ServiceNow also we will not use an ITSM tool by itself. Like it was some 20 years back we were using a tool for standalone purposes. So especially when it's an ITSM tool like ServiceNow, it should talk to each other. It should talk to monitoring tools, it should talk to backup tool and whatever in-house tool. So ServiceNow, as we know, it's a cloud-based company, so it has a rich web services to interact with. So it has both the REST services and SOAP web services, and using that you can do whatever you are doing using GUI. Whatever you do in ServiceNow using GUI can be done using REST and SOAP web services. So we'll focus on REST web services in this session. So again, coming to ServiceNow, this is ServiceNow console. You can see a lot of different modules here: ITSM module, service mapping, orchestration, etc. So in the last video, we have discussed that all these modules they store their database schema, column, values, data, everything into tables. A rational database which is inside the ServiceNow platform, inside the ServiceNow cloud. So first thing you have to keep it in mind that everything is there in some table. Yeah, there'll be lot of tables, right? For a tool like ServiceNow, there'll be lot of table, and it's very hard to remember those tables. I guess only hardcore ServiceNow developers will remember those. So for you, just log into ServiceNow wiki, and you can see all the tables and classes. So this will be the table name for a particular label and extension of that table. So for example, if you go for incident, there is a table called incident here. So all the records related to an incident will be stored in a table called incident. Similarly, all record for location will be stored in a table called IMP location. So like that, whatever there you can see inside these modules, inside this pane, a corresponding table will be there. So what we are doing is we will fetch or we will communicate with this table. So as a prerequisite is I guess everyone will have knowledge on ServiceNow and a basic knowledge on REST web services, RESTful API. So ServiceNow has four type of RESTful APIs available: a table API, an aggregate API, an import set API, and a performance analytics API. A table API is used to create, delete, MACD or CRUD operations on existing table. Create, modify, delete, add. An aggregate API is used to compute the aggregate status of existing table or column data. Similarly, an import set API for import set tables and performance analytics API for performance analytics scorecard. This performance analytics is a different module of ServiceNow, and this API is specially made for that different module, that separate module. So for the time being, we'll focus on table APIs. That is to add, delete, modify any of the records inside ServiceNow. So as any other RESTful services, it has get, post, put, patch, or delete. So get web services means we will fetch information from ServiceNow. Post, we can create a new record in ServiceNow. Put means we'll modify an existing record. Delete means we'll delete that record. When I said the record or will add something new, that means you can do the same for any of these modules inside ServiceNow. You can create a new incident, you can delete an incident, you can modify an incident, update work note, assign it to another user. Same, you can create a change task, anything that you are doing manually can be done using this table API. Got it? So normal users can't access Rust. It's not secure to give everyone the Rust access, right? So there will be a limitations in doing that. So if you want to play with Rust, you have to be added in any of these two roles, either a Rust service role or a web service admin role. Like, you have to navigate to users, go to users, click on users, navigate to your name. My name is Mohit, so I'll navigate Mohit. Here is Mohit Rao. Nice. Click on that. Here you can see my information. I'm a solution consultant. Nice. And here you can see the roles. So I'm the administration of this. This is my personal developer instance. So the role will be admin. So if I have admin role, that means I'll have access to each and everything inside ServiceNow. If I don't think many organization will provide admin access to the people. So for giving you only Rust access, you have to add a new role. If admin is added, you don't need to add anything. Or else go to collection and add either Rust service or web service admin. So if you are added into this role, that means you can access service now using Rust. So this is the basic of Rust and service now. Now it's very hard for beginners. It's very hard, right? You don't know how many tables it has, and some organization will customize this table. They will have incident starting with inc. Some organization will start incident with in only in. So a lot of things will be there. They will add their own columns in the table. Some organization may add one transaction time or SLA field in incident table. So whatever you see in this UI, I mean, this when you create a new incident, whatever you see here can be changed. I may think that okay, I don't have this state, I don't need this state here, so my organization will remove that. So it will be removed from the incident column, right? So I don't know what to do. So for those things, ServiceNow itself has a Rust utility called Rust API Explorer. You can see here Rust API Explorer. So I will recommend this before integrating with your code, before writing Rust calls in your code or orchestration or wherever. It's better to test the Rust APIs inside ServiceNow. Yes, they have the facility. Then what's the problem? Let's try that. I'll click on it. So this is Rust API Explorer where you can do CRUD activities: create, read, update, delete. Nice. So namespace is now. What is the table? Table API will be looking on API version. Get the latest version. Now you can select the table here. Which table you want to access. So I want to access the incident table. I'll write incident here. So I'll be doing a get. Let me search some incident. So we'll go to incident. Let me take some open incident. So let's get the details of this incident. Service stopped. So the number of the incident is this. So I'll go here. Table API, retrieve records from table, that is get method. Table name is incident. Now I will give the query, sysperm query. number equal to whatever number, and I'll click send. So I got 200. Okay, 200 status mean it is success. I'll come here. Yes, this is the response body. So I got all the details: short description, close code, work start, assignment group, everything I got from using a REST call. And they have given me a query also. Let's see. I'll just copy this query. I'll do it in browser. Asking for authentication. Yes, I got all the details of incident. When it was created, active, impact, short description, assignment group, everything is there. So this is how you will retrieve the records from ServiceNow. Instance slash API slash now slash table name. So in this case, it's incident. So if it was a location, I'll use IMP underscore location. So table name question mark syspam query equal to our number, and I get all the details of that particular incident. So this is a method of getting the details of incident or any other table. So there is one more way of getting those details. So when you are coding, say you don't have a number or you don't know anything. So every record you create, whether it's an incident or it's a problem, any record you create, it will have a particular ID called sys underscore ID. So this is our unique ID, sys underscore ID. So you can fetch the information using this one also. So I'll come here, I'll give this ID. I got the same thing. See, incident slash ID. If it was a problem, I'll give problem slash ID. If it was a request, I'll give REQ. REQ is the table for request. REQ slash that particular request ID. So in this manner, I can query or I can get the details of a particular table without logging into ServiceNow or without GUI. So you can invoke this from your orchestration tool. So most of the orchestration tool has HTTP get option, right? Whether it's SPO, whether it's MS Orchestrator, whether it's IP Center Automata, or anything, it has something called HTTP get method. So you can just drag and drop that HTTP get, provide authentication, use this format, and you will get the details of in an XML format. Filter this XML format and you will get whatever you want. So in the last session, we told about auto assignment. So I got a query or I got a command in my YouTube channel, so to find out the active users. So one gentleman asked, how will we find out the active user? So yes, you can do it from this thing. So to find out an active user, I will go for v underscore user session. So using this, you will find who is active in ServiceNow. That means who is logged in ServiceNow. So I'll go for logged in users. So under user administration, you have something called logged in users, which will show all the users and all the transactions that is going on here. So currently in this instance, only me, I am logged in, so admin. So I'm doing three different transaction here. So you can see three different tabs. So you will get three different transactions by admin. So in short, if you give one more query to filter out duplicates, you will only get one user who is logged in, and that is admin. So using this query, you will get all the users who are logged into ServiceNow. By adding some more filters like the remove duplication, and from this assignment group who is logged in, you will get a particular people from this assignment group logged into ServiceNow. There is one more thing called last transaction time. So this can be used to check whether they are active or not. Last transaction time. So using this, you can understand, okay, they are active, they are logged in, they are active into ServiceNow. So those who are not active for 5 minutes, maybe you can avoid them for ticket assignment. Just for information. So just like this, whatever you see here in this pane, you can query the information using ServiceNow table API. Similar to this, we can create a record using table API. Now we were looking on to get, right? Same thing, we can go for post. So create a record post. So let's create a table. Let's create a incident record. So my table is incident. I'll select incident. Yes. Um, I'll be sending application slash JSON. Let's add few fields. So as you can see here, we were talking about the column customization in different companies, right? While using, the best part of using a REST API Explorer is that everything you can see here. So REST API Explorer will go to the column and pick whatever information you want. So that's why I told for testing it's best to use REST API Explorer. Use REST API Explorer, test the code, and then use it in orchestration or your in-house API tool. So what I have to set is a short description. I'll set the short description as testing REST API Explorer. Cool. I'll add one more code. Assignment group to app approvals. No, service desk. Nice. I don't know. I like app approval group very much. This is not coming. Then what should we add? So as you can see, you can add all this information, but I'm stopping right away. So let's send this. So it just asks for confirmation, modifying data, confirm to continue. Yes, I am confirming. So 201 is the code which for post it's successful. So we have created that, and you got the response body. Let's navigate to the incident. So when you get the XML like this, inside number you will have the XML number. So I'll manually go here. I'll go to incidents. Or maybe I'll just search here. Yes. Testing API Explorer. Nice. You have created a new record and assigned it to service group. You can even assign it to my name directly. So whatever fields here, you can populate those fields, right? I'll go here. I'll type number equal to this. Sorry, I missed out the table. Incident. This. Number equal to this. We have created the incident successfully using post. It's this symbol. So you can do it from your operation orchestration or orchestration, any other orchestration tool, from a .NET code, from a Java code, from your in-house tool, anywhere you just invoke this. post HTTP post instance URL along with corresponding request body, and that's done. You have created an incident here. So in a similar manner, you can update that incident. I'll add a work note. I'll add a work. Sorry for that. I'll add a work note to this incident. So for updating an incident, as I mentioned earlier, you need to know the SysID. ServiceNow doesn't want to mess up things. So every incident or every any record in ServiceNow will be provided with a SysID. So you should know that. So to modify a record, we'll use modify a record, put, select a table, incident. They're asking for SysID, which is a mandatory field, SysID. And the field to update. So we have decided we'll update the work note. So using put in REST API Explorer sent, again the same question, 200. Let's go back and refresh this. See, a new work note has been updated. So now we have created a new record, we have updated the work notes, we have queried the record using REST. So for creating a record, we have used HTTP post. To modify a record, we have used HTTP put. And to query the record, we have used HTTP get. And all this can be done from an external application. You just need to pass these values. You can fetch any value. So let's consider if you don't have a REST API Explorer. Your company is telling, I will not give you REST API Explorer. So you have a tool called Postman. It's an ad. So we can do the same using Postman. This is Postman, Chrome client. So let's see how we will get the information in Postman, just like we did for REST API Explorer. So I'll copy this, I'll paste it here. I have to give the basic authentication, admin, and the credential for that. See, I got all the information related to that particular incident. The number, all those stuffs. I can use put here to modify this information, similar to the method we have used here. I'll just select put here. I'll key in the particular table URL along with the SysID. This is the SysID of that particular incident. I'll switch on to the basic authentication which we have provided just now. I'll go to body and create a request body. So this time we'll update a work note stating put using Postman. So this should ideally update the work notes of that particular incident. Let's see. We got some error. Content type equal to JSON. Yes, it's updated. Let's go back to the incident, refresh the incident. and the workload is updated using put in Postman. So in this manner, even if you don't have a REST API Explorer here, you can use Postman or any similar clients like Firefox. You have REST client. So any similar clients or maybe a SOAP UI to invoke or test your REST APIs into ServiceNow. So in this manner, you can create a record in the sense, create a problem ticket, change ticket, service request, incident, query the same, get active users, logged in users, anything inside this service now without logging into service now in a graphical way, without going into service now and doing. So you can use this integration with monitoring system so that whenever a ticket comes, automatically create a record in service now. You can use this with your third party tool, anything. You can wherever your ITSM is there, you can integrate it so that let system talk each other. That doesn't bring people in middle to for this normal charted work. Let them do something strategic. Let system talk to each other. Hopefully this session helps everyone. In the next session we will be focusing on doing all these activities using SOAP. So thanks a lot. Bye.